Alrighty, so let's get into this him and her for today, and you're gonna see what the area of focus is here. Purpose. It says, I know what I am here to do. So this is a couple or two individuals that may meet each other and should have a purpose. And if the focus is the purpose, what is the purpose of you being with him? What is the purpose of him being with you or her? What is the purpose, right? And are you in a relationship that has purpose? Do both of y'all have a purpose for each other, right? So let's see. Alright, so we got a fire energy here. We got an earth energy here. This one has already come out, fortitude and wealth. So, first off, let's discuss this Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is a discussion of battle and surviving battles, right? With this feminine principle is a lot of glam and money and the physical aspects. Now, when you throw fire and earth together, ladies and gentlemen, if there's too much fire, earth gets scorched, right? And then that scorching causes a smoke, and it causes a confusion. And so there may be a confusion within a relationship, like what is the purpose of the relationship? This one, the masculine has gone through quite a bit, right? And this feminine principle is very comfortable and very earthly. So let's see. And if you put these numbers together, you got 19, you still got 10. So, something in this particular relationship may have to end in order for them to get grounded and start anew with an actual purpose. And what I'm seeing off the rip is that most likely this feminine principle that's living in this comfortability and living in this earthly manner, supposedly, right, has to understand the battles and the struggles that the masculine has already gone through, right? Whatever those may be, in order to kind of get out of the cloud of confusion, right? So let's see. And the thing that's interesting about this card right here is that in this deck is fortitude, right? And you have the postman out here in the cold and in the snow still doing what he got to do. It's a battle. It's a struggle. It's not simple for this particular masculine, right? So let's see what else comes down. Right, exactly. Interference. This is the Eight of Swords, right? And so this card right here is speaking of interference with how one thinks, how one is processing and communicating, right? But in a general deck, right, this is a deck going based off the old system, but in a general deck, this card kind of takes the place of self-suppression, being suppressed also, right? So this one would hold like a dual kind of aspect, but stress, right? This is more so in the general deck, suppression. Alrighty. And so what's this interference here? And then you have right. And then you have in this particular deck, this is the Four of Cups, living in a lap of luxury. In general, when you talk about the Four of Cups, it's things that's being ignored, not particularly acknowledged, kind of isolating and closing oneself off. But in this particular deck is a discussion of, a little bit of not crying over the spilt milk. One is still comfortable in luxury, right? So let's see what else is going on here. And this might be where the interference is taking place in the first place. The Hangman, all right, seeing things a little bit different. And then abundance, right? So what this masculine here is saying is, celebration, abundance, friends, family, going through the mud, going through the stress, going through the fights, going through the battles, feeling suppressed or being suppressed is a discussion here. While this feminine principle seems to be living in a lap of luxury with the wealth and seeing things, a little bit stagnated maybe, or seeing things from a different perspective, not understanding this particular masculine's perspective is what's going on. And this is where the question and the focus is, what is the purpose of the him and her being together? And I'll probably throw a card down in the middle. Right, the Lovers. Right, so first off, this masculine here comes down, and this energy of all of this is going on, but still wants to have a strong union, a union that's guided by something higher than them, which is, this twin flame energy. Everything about them is very similar and very connected. This feminine, even though it lives in in the luxury and in the finances, and sees some things different, and sees, feels like she sacrificed some things too, especially when it comes to the family. The energy is just slightly off, and it might just be this Eight of Swords here, this interference, right? So they both got some water going on over here, and they don't both have the fire in the same way, right? And they don't both have the air in the same way. So let me see what's going on with this interference. Pleasure. Now, the Six of the Cups generally is a discussion of memories and past connections and help from the past and assistance from the past and remembering things and kind of nostalgia and not getting kind of caught up in it. But in this particular deck, is a discussion of pleasure, and there may be a little bit of static in that. So this may be a masculine that has gone through a hell of a lot, still has a commitment or a desire to be committed to a particular relationship that they're in right now. But the static is, this is the thing. He's going through all kinds of shenanigans right now. He's going through some things. He's still holding on to this part though, but he's going through some things, okay? And for some reason, this little staticky connection that's taking place is like, but you're still living in a lap of luxury. You still have everything you need. You still have the family, and in a whole, you're still comfortable. You're still, it's still a requirement for her to sacrifice and do the things that she has to do to maintain the family structure, right? But at the end of the day, it's like she's still living in this lap of luxury and wealth and health and stability and family and this, that, and the third, right? And that's fine. So with this masculine holding this static, his static is coming from past experiences, past worries, past concerns, past thoughts, and things of that nature. And this may throw the purpose off, right? So let's see what's going on this situation right here. The Sun. And that's the purpose. The purpose right here is, regardless of all of these feelings and thoughts and emotions and celebrations and twin flame connections and working forward and getting stagnated and having mixy communication and kind of doubts and not really sure which way one wants to go on his masculine side based off of previous experience and things of that nature, right? At the end of the day, the purpose is to create happiness, stability. There's still some romance there. There's still family and children there. That is a purpose. Now, this is definitely somebody that is still within a relationship, and the relationship is going to balance itself out quite naturally. It's just that it's very hard with the masculine because of past experiences, being around past people, past thoughts, memories, and things of that nature. So he kind of gets thrown off sometimes. It doesn't stop him from doing what he's supposed to do for his feminine, but he definitely gets thrown off sometime, and he probably brings some static every once in a while when he feel like she getting a little bit too comfortable, or she does one little thing that reminds him of something that he's already experienced in previous relationships, or being around previous relationships and previous friendships. It will throw him off and have him ready to spaz out a little bit, right? And so she has to come to kind of understand that a little bit. Let me see one more thing, and then I'm off this team. Right, and when he gets like that, this Nine of Swords comes down, right? And when this Nine of Swords comes down, usually when you're dealing with the Nine of Swords, you're dealing with just straight stress, right? And a lack of sleep and worry. But this in this particular deck is a discussion of cruelty, and so he can be a little bit cruel towards this feminine principle when he starts glitching back into little things that she may do that she may not even know she do. This is why this hangman is there. Hangman doesn't necessarily mean sacrifice for family for the family structure and this, that, and the third, and the money and this, that. It also can mean looking at things from a different perspective, tapping into things from a different perspective from others. She may not even know that she does, certain things or says certain things or go around certain individuals that's gonna make, like, it's very interesting, this guy here. I'm telling you. They both have to focus on the overall purpose here. Right. And that's the thing. This feminine, literally, in his thoughts is, if it was up to him, she would just be where she's at, doing whatever he want her to do, doing whatever she do, not having to talk to nobody, not having to be bothered with nobody, because every little thing kind of puts him in this Six of Cups energy, and this oppressed, in this deck is interference, but it's an oppression, and the interference is an oppression to a degree, right? And it does get him a little bit aggressive, maybe a little too aggressive at times. So what he has to understand is that where's the connection? Is he happy? Is she happy? Is this masculine focusing on his children and creating and new ideas and trying to find balance and trying to keep a warm energy? That is the purpose, or the relationship will not work. Is to try to maintain a warm purpose. The problem here is that this feminine principle, is kind of spoiled to a degree. And he may feel like he is a reason for it to some degree. You understand what I'm saying? So people have to, he has to come to an understanding. And let me see why, outside of past experiences, and the thing also that's interesting about this deck is where cruelty lies, which is, like a toy, a doll, like as a childhood, right? So he may have experienced this in childhood. And there goes the Two of Pentacles. So he might be a little bit double-minded at times. 1 minute he's one way, 1 minute he's the other way. There's things that he may not even realize and see that he's not dealing with his own past, that may create this insecurity and this, energy of wanting to restrict, and these interferences that take place, and, all of that kind of stuff. So we're not saying that he's a nutty buddy, but we're gonna definitely say that there's some experiences that he may have already had in concerns with relationships, connections, friendships, things of that nature, that kind of makes him blitz out a little bit. And the thing that should bounce him back in, or he should try to bounce him back in, is children, his family, his creativity, his ability to be warm. It's still there. And that will bring a purpose amongst this masculine and feminine right here. So anyway, smooches and deuces. The masculine who can relate to this kind of motion and movement and thought and feeling, stay calm. Deuces.